Have you ever stopped to imagine the Golden State Warriors returning to the NBA Finals in full force? And what if I told you that the turning point may have come from an unexpected name, someone no one had pegged as the protagonist of this turnaround? That's right, the one responsible for this radical change might be Jimmy Butler. Exactly. His arrival to the team wasn't just another signing, it was a complete transformation. Since Butler put on the Warriors jersey, what we've seen on the court has been a true rebirth. The team's performance skyrocketed, with 11 wins and only 2 losses. But what's even more impressive is that when he's actually playing, that record becomes even scarier. 11 wins and just 1 loss with him on the court. That's not just good, that's dominance. Butler's impact goes far beyond the stats. He brought a new mentality, a more aggressive and competitive attitude that has spread throughout the entire roster. From being a team that looked like it was just fighting for a playoff spot, Golden State is once again being seen as a real threat in the Western Conference. What's striking is how quickly this shift happened. The Warriors' system, always focused on ball movement and team play, seems to have found an ideal match in Butler. He not only adapted to the team's style, but brought an intensity that had been missing. And the result is clear, a team playing with a hunger to win, with energy, and a focus that once seemed lost. But the Warriors' transformation isn't just about Butler. While Stephen Curry remains the soul of the team, playing at an elite level that keeps him in the MVP conversation, there's another piece that could be crucial in taking this group to even greater heights: Jonathan Kuminga. And here's where the story adds a new chapter. After being out for over 2 months with an ankle injury, Kuminga is close to returning, and his comeback could represent the final push the team needs to solidify itself as a true title contender. The big question is, will Kuminga come back as the same player who was impressing everyone before the injury, or will he need time to regain his rhythm? Coach Steve Kerr has already spoken about this, and he seems to have a clear strategy to carefully reintegrate Kuminga into the group. Kerr made it clear that the plan is to ease him back in with limited minutes at first, allowing him to gradually readjust. At the same time, it's essential not to disrupt a team that currently has excellent chemistry. And that makes sense. You can't just throw Kuminga back on the court and expect everything to flow perfectly. The team has found a special chemistry during this stretch, especially the connection between Curry and Butler. This is a group that's playing well, and tinkering with that machine requires caution. But what could the true impact of Kuminga's return be? Before getting hurt, he was playing the best basketball of his career so far. He brought energy, defensive presence, physical explosiveness, and a versatility that fit perfectly with Golden State's style of play. He was undoubtedly a valuable piece in Kerr's system. If Kuminga can come back at the same level, or even better, the Warriors gain another weapon on both offense and defense. And more than that, he can help ease the burden on Curry's shoulders. After all, the more offensive options the team has, the less Curry has to force plays or wear himself out trying to carry everything alone. That's the key to the Warriors' success: distributing responsibilities without losing consistency. Butler has already been doing that masterfully, being a presence on both offense and defense. With Kuminga back, the team has more tactical flexibility, can switch lineups, change the pace, and adapt better to opponents, especially in the playoffs. Another crucial point will be how Kerr uses Kuminga. If he's reintegrated smartly and used as a secret weapon in key moments, the impact could be huge. But if he's rushed or the rotations aren't well managed, the risk of disrupting the team is real. This puts Kerr in a pivotal role. He'll need to balance the return of a talented young player with maintaining the rhythm of a group that has found a winning groove. And all of this is happening during the final stretch of the season, where every game can make the difference between a direct playoff berth and the play-in. So the question that won't go away: could Kuminga be the missing piece the Warriors need to fight for the NBA trophy? The team is already showing strength and cohesion. With the return of a player who was essential before his injury, the ceiling could be even higher. But it doesn't stop there. There's another move behind the scenes that could raise the team's level even more. Now imagine a version of the Golden State Warriors that, in addition to having Curry, Butler, Green, and Kuminga, also includes a dominant center to protect the paint and command respect on defense. A player with size, skill, and intelligence to complement this roster. That name has been speculated, and he could be the key to something even greater, Jakob Poeltl. This potential acquisition isn't just baseless speculation. There are real internal moves to bring in the Austrian center, and if it happens, the impact could be monumental. Jakob Poeltl is not just another rotation player. At 29 years old, he's playing the best basketball of his career and consistently delivers solid numbers night after night. Averaging around 14 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and over 2 assists per game, he's a powerful presence in the paint. His shooting percentage is over 60%, and he doesn't just score. He creates second-chance opportunities with offensive rebounds, something the Warriors have sorely missed in crucial moments. Poeltl's presence would solve one of the team's biggest weaknesses, the lack of a true rim protector. Draymond Green is an exceptional defender, but he doesn't have the size or height to handle the league's strongest centers in the playoffs. Poeltl, on the other hand, could be that defensive anchor, capable of handling opponents like Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, or Karl Anthony Towns, players who dominate the paint and pose serious threats in the postseason. And it's not just about defense. Poeltl could also fit offensively as an ideal pick-and-roll partner for Curry. Imagine the dynamic. Curry drawing defenders with his deadly shooting, while Poeltl rolls to the basket and finishes at the rim. A simple play, but one that could be devastating if used consistently throughout a series. The rumor is that the Warriors would be willing to offer names like Moses Moody and even Buddy Hield to close the deal with the Toronto Raptors. Moody has potential and a bright future, and Hield is a long-range shooting specialist. But the Warriors are focused on the now. If the Golden State front office wants to maximize what this roster can do right now, trading for Jakob Poeltl makes perfect sense. He's not a flashy star, but his game speaks volumes. He fills a strategic gap, brings security in the paint, and offers the kind of consistency the Warriors have long sought in their center rotation. And unlike other options that have come up in past seasons, Poeltl is ready to contribute immediately. No adaptation needed, no development time. He'd come in ready to play, take on a key role, and strengthen the team's backbone. Now think about this. A team that already has the brilliance of Stephen Curry, the competitive fire and quiet leadership of Jimmy Butler, the rising versatility of Jonathan Kuminga, the defensive brain of Draymond Green, and could soon add a consistent big like Poeltl. That wouldn't just be an evolution of the current roster, it would be a revolution. And what's most interesting is how all of this connects. Because we're not talking about isolated pieces or talents shining alone. We're seeing a plan coming together, a roster being shaped with intelligence, with a balance of youth and experience, with names that complement each other and don't compete for the same space on the court. Jimmy Butler, for example, arrived quietly, without the noise of blockbuster trades that dominate headlines, but his impact was immediate. He didn't need months to adjust. His work ethic, his focus on winning, his team-first mentality, all of it fit perfectly with the Warriors' DNA, and that's why, in such a short time, he's already seen as a central figure in this new chapter. Stephen Curry, for his part, continues to be the team's barometer. When he's on the court, everything revolves around him. His three-point shooting still breaks defenses, but what's most striking right now is how free and relaxed he seems. Maybe because, with Butler and potentially Poeltl sharing responsibilities, he doesn't have to be the hero every night. That tactical relief might be exactly what Curry needs to shine even more. With less weight on his shoulders, he can focus on being the creative brain of the offense, dictating the pace, creating space for others, without always needing to drop 40 points for the team to have a chance. Jonathan Kuminga also fits into this puzzle as a high-value piece. Before the injury, he was already showing signs of maturity, of understanding his role in the system. And the curious part is, he doesn't need to be a star to make an impact. He can be the guy doing the dirty work, applying defensive pressure, grabbing tough rebounds, cutting to the basket at the perfect moment. And that's what makes the Warriors so dangerous right now. They're no longer dependent on a single factor. They have multiple weapons, different ways to win a game. If Curry has an off night, Butler can step up. If the defense struggles against a dominant big, Poeltl can hold the line. If the game needs a burst of energy, Kuminga's there to shift the momentum. And all of it is being orchestrated by a coach who knows how to get the best out of every piece, Steve Kerr. Kerr, in fact, has a crucial role in this new Warriors cycle. He's not just adjusting a team, he's building a new identity within the same philosophy. After years with a very clear core, with familiar faces, he now has to integrate new stars, develop young talent, and still preserve the collective spirit that's always defined the Warriors. And so far, he's doing it masterfully. The rotations are smarter, the team looks more disciplined, and above all, more committed to the bigger goal, winning. Poeltl's possible arrival would be another test of that management ability. Kerr would need to find the balance between maintaining the system's flow and integrating a new player who, while valuable, changes the team's dynamic. Because yes, the presence of a dominant center does change the game, and Kerr knows that. The good news is Kerr has been through this before. He's had to integrate new pieces without breaking the system. He's had to reinvent his team multiple times over the years. And that experience could be crucial in helping this new version of the Warriors reach its full potential. Beyond that, leadership in the locker room doesn't just depend on the coach. This group has strong personalities, players who know how to stay focused, how to respond to adversity, and how to support one another. Butler's arrival brought more of that spirit. He's the kind of player who demands but also inspires, who holds others accountable, but also delivers. And that raises the standard for everyone around him. So when we look at the full picture, the Golden State Warriors aren't just in a good moment. They're in a process of accelerated, intelligent, and highly promising reconstruction. They're reinventing themselves without giving up the identity that took them to the top in years past. And the cherry on top might really be the addition of Jakob Poeltl. With him, the team gains the size and strength to go toe-to-toe with the West's giants. And we're not just talking physical presence. We're talking about intelligence, efficiency, a player who knows his role and exactly how to contribute. The question now is, how far can this team go? If the chemistry keeps growing, if Kuminga returns strong and is used wisely, if Poeltl really joins and brings the expected impact, then we're talking about a team poised to be a contender not just this season, but for the seasons to come. Because unlike other times when the Warriors were dominant thanks to a small core, what's emerging now is a more distributed collective force. A roster with real options, with depth, with the flexibility to adapt to different styles and opponents. That could be the decisive factor in the playoffs. Teams that can win in multiple ways are the ones that survive long series. And the Warriors, with all these new and well-positioned pieces, are becoming exactly that. A complete team, with multiple solutions, with experience and youth, with hunger and intelligence. But none of it will be easy. The path to the title is full of challenges. The other Western teams are also retooling. There's tough competition, players in peak form, experienced coaches, and demanding fan bases. Every game will be a battle. That's why Golden State needs to keep its focus. Maintain the intensity. Use every regular season game as preparation and reach the playoffs with the entire team at its physical and mental peak. The big difference in this new phase of the Warriors isn't just in the stats or the names added to the roster, it's in the feeling. That energy you sense when a team starts to find itself, when the players begin to believe they can go further, that they can surprise the entire league. That feeling is alive in the Golden State locker room. And part of that comes from the fact that the front office finally seems to be aligned with the coaching staff and the players. The planning is clearer, decisions are being made with a medium and long-term vision, but without losing the urgency to compete now. That's rare in the NBA. Many franchises get stuck in the dilemma between rebuilding and trying to win. The Warriors, however, have found a hybrid path. They are developing their young players, like Kuminga, but also making bold moves, such as the potential arrival of Poeltl and the recent addition of Jimmy Butler. This combination of present and future might be the difference maker. And for a team that already has a winning core, adding talent without losing its essence is an art. The Warriors are, little by little, mastering that art. And if we look at the Western Conference landscape, the timing is ideal for a surge. Although there are dominant forces like the Nuggets and Clippers, there's a real opening for a well-organized team with a star and depth to take over the narrative. Golden State, with this new setup, is positioning itself exactly for that. Jimmy Butler arrived hungry to win, and what's most interesting is that he's not just playing, he's transforming. It's not common to see a player change the mindset of a roster in such a short time, but Butler has that ability. He demands excellence, lives the game with intensity, and brings with him a culture of competitiveness that infects the locker room. It's no coincidence that since his arrival, the team has become a winning machine. And it's not just about numbers, it's about their attitude on the court. The more aggressive cuts, the stronger defense, the more conscious decisions. This kind of thing starts behind the scenes, but shows up during games. Butler brought that change. And what's curious is that he didn't take anyone's spotlight. He just elevated the collective standard. And that's what makes his presence so valuable. On the other side, you have Curry playing with more freedom, with less need to carry the offense all the time. The effect is visible. He's more dynamic, moving even more without the ball, creating space for others and, when necessary, deciding games with the calm and cold-bloodedness only he has. This balance in offensive power is becoming one of Golden State's greatest strengths, because now opponents can no longer focus on a single threat. They have to deal with Curry on the perimeter, Butler attacking the rim, Kuminga emerging with speed, and possibly Poeltl controlling the paint. And if you look closely, you'll see that each piece contributes to a very clear strategy, multiplying the ways to win. Instead of relying on a single game plan, the team is learning to be versatile. If the game demands fast transition, they have the legs for it. If it's a physical battle, they have the toughness. If the opposing defense closes the perimeter, they can score in the paint. It's this kind of versatility that wins championships. The return of Kuminga is another vital element in this equation. Before the injury, he was showing a level of confidence rarely seen since he entered the league. More than the numbers, it was the way he was positioning himself, making quicker decisions, defending multiple positions, attacking with force. And that evolution can't be underestimated. With Kuminga healthy and reintegrated intelligently, the Warriors gain a release valve. He can come off the bench and change the pace of the game, take on specific defensive assignments, or even play alongside Butler and Green as part of a more physical and athletic lineup. Kerr knows this. And that's why he's planning his return carefully, managing minutes and preparing the environment so the young player's impact is maximized. And speaking of Kerr, his work this season may be one of the most challenging of his career. He's not just coaching. He's rebuilding, redesigning the team in real time, and still managing to keep the group competitive. That shows how much he has matured as a coach. He's learned to balance experience with youth, ego with teamwork, urgency with patience. And the current roster is responding. The front office also deserves recognition. The potential trade for Poeltl shows they are paying attention, that they are willing to do what's necessary to give the roster the missing pieces. It's not easy to let go of young talents like Moses Moody, but sometimes the moment calls for boldness. And if the goal is to win now, this kind of move is justified. Buddy Hield, another name mentioned in the trade talks, would also bring immediate value, especially in the long-range shooting department. Although the Warriors built their reputation around the three-point game, their shooting percentage this season has been below ideal. Hield could help fix that, coming off the bench as a lethal sniper, capable of changing the game with just a few clutch shots. In other words, the potential trade for Poeltl and Hield represents not just reinforcements, but specific surgical adjustments in areas the Warriors know they need to improve. It's the kind of move that turns a good team into a title contender. And now, with all this taking shape, what once seemed unlikely is starting to become possible. The Warriors are not just getting back to winning, they're getting back to being feared. The opponents know it. They've already noticed the team is taking shape, getting more cohesive, more dangerous, that it's no longer just a team trying to stay competitive, it's a real threat. The vibe has changed. The fans feel it, the players know it. The chemistry is coming back, the confidence is spreading, and the locker room is more united than ever. When a team enters this kind of synergy, everything is amplified. And in this scenario, The return of Kuminga and the arrival of Poeltl could be exactly what's needed to turn a promising project into a championship reality. But as always in the NBA, the difference between a good team and a championship team lies in the details. In minute management, in well-made rotations, in game reading, in the ability to stay focused even when things don't go as planned. And that will be Golden State's next big test. They have the pieces. They have the talent. They have the coach. Now, they need to prove they can put it all together at the right time. And the fans, of course, are standing strong, because deep down, everyone who follows this team knows exactly what they're capable of when everything clicks. Kai returned to the court with an impressive performance, reaffirming his status as one of the most promising talents in Asian basketball. In a recent game against Kyoto, he delivered a spectacular performance, scoring 20 points, grabbing 4 rebounds, and dishing out 3 assists. These numbers not only stand out in the stats, but also showcase the constant evolution of a player who becomes more complete with each game. From the first minute, it was clear he was ready to shine. Combining height, agility, and technical skills, he dominated the paint, leaving opposing defenders without answers. His mid-range shots were sharp, a reflection of the continuous effort he dedicates to improving his game. Moreover, his court vision became evident in decisive moments, distributing assists and connecting his teammates in important plays. When the game reached its most tense moments, Kai took responsibility, showing leadership and composure. In the third quarter, he made a memorable play by dribbling past 2 defenders, converting a crucial basket, and hitting the free throw after being fouled. Plays like this not only excite the crowd, but also highlight his ability to perform under pressure, a key trait for any player with ambitions of reaching the NBA. His fans have plenty of reasons to be excited. Kai is about to hit historic milestones in the B-League. With just 76 points remaining to reach 1,000 career points, he is approaching a select group of players known for their offensive consistency. Additionally, he has already surpassed 500 rebounds, establishing himself as a dominant presence in the paint on both offense and defense. He not only protects the painted area with authority, but also creates crucial second-chance opportunities for his team. Another important achievement is nearing. He is just 4 assists away from reaching 100 assists in the league. This reinforces his ability to create opportunities and involve his teammates in strategic plays. These numbers directly reflect the impact Kai brings to the court. His combination of imposing physicality, technical ability, and tactical intelligence makes him one of the most complete players in the league. Every point, rebound, and assist brings him closer not only to records but also to the dream of playing in the NBA. His performance has caught the attention of analysts and commentators who already consider him a player capable of raising the competitive level of the B-League. Comparisons with great past big men are starting to emerge, highlighting his potential to leave a legacy in international basketball. But for Kai, more than statistics or records, the important thing is to keep evolving and making his mark in every game. Kai Sotto's future has been one of the most debated topics among fans and experts, and one of the most mentioned destinations for him in the NBA is the Golden State Warriors. The franchise's fans have already started a campaign on social media asking for his signing, believing he could be the missing piece to strengthen the team. The Warriors are known for their fast and dynamic style of play, with an emphasis on long-distance shooting and constant movement. However, one of the team's weak points has been the lack of a dominant presence in the paint, someone who can protect the defensive area, grab rebounds, and bring balance to the team. Kai fits exactly that profile. His impressive height and game-reading ability are characteristics that could transform the Warriors' performance. Moreover, his international experience, facing different styles of basketball around the world, makes him an interesting prospect for a franchise looking to refresh its roster without sacrificing competitiveness. For the Warriors, signing Kai would represent a low-risk, high-potential move. He has already demonstrated his ability to contribute both defensively and offensively, being an efficient finisher near the basket and constantly improving his mid-range shot. Combining this with his competitive mindset and dedication to improvement, he would fit well into the team's system. The fans are excited about this possibility, knowing that players with Kai's skill set and potential are rare. For many, he could be exactly what the team needs to get back to competing for the top spot in the NBA. If you like the content, leave a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything about the Warriors. Thanks and see you in the next video.